what are the consequences of a short sale in terms of financial liability? We're going to do this in two parts because there are a lot of people who've seen this who do not have a house in California or who did short sales prior and they're still calling, wondering why the banks are collecting from them. Let me just say, contrary, and I have videos on this on YouTube, contrary to what you saw on websites of realtors telling you you don't have to get the deficiency released. They were the number one expert short sale person in California or Southern California. They sold more than anybody. And they were practicing, in my opinion, practicing law without a license on their website and getting it wrong. You can see that in my videos. And we're still seeing a lot of that. Short sales are more complicated, and setting them up properly is even more complicated than that. But let's just say in the old, previous to prior to July 15th, 2011, you had to get, in my opinion, the deficiency released in writing. California Association of Realtors Legal Department has a lot of information on that in the disclosures that good realtors have you sign. Some realtors won't introduce the document because it brings up a hornet's nest for them, but you should ask to see the short sale addendum and the short sale information addendum before you sign anything with a realtor. Now, in this context, you also need to know that 75% of realtor short sales attempts fail. Realtor negotiated short sales by this data was available from National Association of Realtors, and that now, because of CCP 580E, seconds are holding out for much bigger numbers than they used to before. And I was told this by a Chase guy pretty high up in the organization. They would sometimes do the short sale without releasing the remaining loan balance for a small amount of money and just collect or assume they could collect or sell off the loans later. CCP 580E says that they probably can't do that anymore. So there are seconds who are now holding out for much larger amounts than they were before. Before they might take the $3,000 to $6,000 the first would offer them. Now they're asking for 20 or 30. Well, how's that going to happen in a short sale? It could come from a realtor double-siding a large transaction and contributing some of that money themselves. But even then, the first might have a problem with it on RESPA, and so would the title companies. So if you've got, you really now more than ever, because of CCP 580E, you should speak with a lawyer ahead of time so you can set up your transaction properly. You can position your assets. You can be prepared, because also by being prepared, it gives you leverage during the negotiations because you're able to handle the consequences. You don't wait until 2 days before the foreclosure and scramble and try to change your stuff around. So it's important that you consider on one of my websites, and I guess I'll put it up on favoriterealestate.com too, we talk about a two-step short sale. In fact, I have an email right now from the first that we got today from in a loan where the first pretty much suggested that that the seller pays off the second and then comes back and negotiates with them. It's a two-step short sale. It's intelligent, but it has to be done outside a realtor situation. So that's why the people probably aren't hearing all that much about this. But in circumstances, especially if you have assets or income to protect and you've got two loans, you must consider positioning your assets properly and then a two-step short sale. I'll do more on this on other videos. Thanks, John McConnin. FavoriteRealEstate.com, UpsideDownRealEstate.com, and UnderwaterRealEstate.com.